How we doing today, Gotcha Gang? It's Kawaii50 here with another Genshin Impact video. And gang, I do not want you to be dissuaded by the title of this video. I actually am really still enjoying Genshin Impact quite a bit. I'm adventure level 29. I've pulled a lot, and I just really like the game. But as it is with all things that we enjoy, we have to be willing to criticize them and to recognize their faults in order to overall make them better. And that is why I'm talking to you all today while I'm playing and doing some dailies to talk about one of the most glaring problems in the entire game, and that is the resin problem. Now, if you're not in endgame, you might not know what this problem is. Resin is a currency that you absolutely need to use in order to progress, in order to beat some world bosses, in order to farm some stuff. You need that resin in order to deal with it. And this has sort of put a damper on a bunch of people's Genshin Impact experiences. It's a shame, really, because the game is really fun, it plays like an MMO, and I feel like that's a lot of what has made people so drawn to Genshin Impact, made people like it so much and take it more seriously than a lot of other gacha games on the market. And hey, that's perfect timing here, because now you can see kind of just what I'm talking about. So we can see we got this Blossom of Wealth, the main way to farm currency in the game. But in order to revitalize it and claim the reward, I've got to use some original resin to open it, or I just can't claim any of the rewards. We can go ahead and do that, but now some of my resin is gone. Gang, there's a cap of 120 resin per day in the game right now. And this resin refills very slowly. So slowly, in fact, that a lot of people are just upset in their endgame progression, because not only do these daily quests require resin, but some of the bosses that you have to fight, they require resin, and you need those for some high-level ascension materials. The weekly raid bosses, they require resin, and most recently, and the final straw for a lot of people, is the fact that the latest Elemental co-op event, which has some fantastic rewards and a great reason to play with your friends, guess what that requires? It requires resin. So with so many things gated behind resin, with this sort of artificial barrier when it comes to player progression, a lot of people have started to sour on Genshin Impact, and it's a problem that they are going to definitely have to fix sooner rather than later, because so many media outlets are reporting on it. But I think the question comes down to, what can they do? What solutions do they have? And I kind of have a couple ideas myself, and we're going to start with the thing that I will be shocked if they do. An idea I don't think is ever going to come to fruition, and that is just them eliminating resin altogether. I really don't think they will eliminate resin altogether, mainly considering the fact that you are able to spend currency to get resin after all of your resin has been exhausted. Why would they eliminate a way for you to spend more premium currency, which you have to buy? They wouldn't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Some people will argue that, hey, eliminating the resin, that's going to affect the balance of the game very poorly. But we've really got to ask ourselves, what balance is going to be adversely affected? This is a PvE game. This is not a PvP game. There is really not a lot to adversely affect. Yeah, you might advance faster into the end game, but, you know, so what? So what? Genshin Impact's already made $100 million. It has recouped its development costs. If they can acquire a way, find some way for their players to enjoy the game more, to play the game more, giving them more opportunities to spend that money, they're just going to end up with a happier player base, a player base that is more apt to spend that cash. So if you're one of those people that thinks they might be eliminating resin, that ain't happening, not by a long shot. What do I think is actually likely to happen? I think, gang, that we are going to see very soon a change to resin in the form of an increased resin cap, a quicker rate at which resin respawns, so we're not waiting an entire day to get our resin back, and of course more opportunities to get those resin restoring items beyond adventurer rank. Because gang, once your adventurer rank starts really slowing down, the rate at which you acquire resin restoring items also really slows down. So if they can provide us with more ways to sort of get those items, I think Genshin Impact is just going to be overall better for it. You're going to have a lot of people playing, and people playing more often, which gives MiHoYo more opportunities to get that sweet cash flow. Honestly, gang, if they do nothing when it comes to the resin, if they just sort of let it sit there, if they keep the resin at the same rate it's at, I really think there is a lot of potential, regardless of the amazing praise that Genshin Impact has gotten. I think there's a lot of potential for this game to maybe even be a one and done. I hate to say it, I hate to even think that because I'm enjoying this game a ton, but that might actually be the case. So hopefully we see some changes to the resin system in the coming days. But as I spend this last bit of 20 resin, gang, I want to know what you think they should do about the resin system. What do you think they should do to make us as players want to spend more time here in the world of Teyvat, to explore, to grind, to fight extra raid bosses? Maybe, you know, let us help our friends fight those raid bosses and let us get the treasures from those raid bosses without spending that resin. That might be a good idea, but that co-op, that's a whole other issue, a whole other video. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below. This is Kawaii50, hoping you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.